Too many ways for you to run my cash.
Check reparations. 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 Check reparations.
Well, if you talking compensation, it's about that time. You gave everybody.
Oh, yiggity, and we're biggity on the Keep It Being podcast. And this teacher couldn't talk about systematic racism in class because the GOP banned it. Now,
It's all the GOP's fault.
I was just about to say, GOP ain't the only ones on some racist stuff. Come on, guys. But anyway, it goes on to say, and let me see what you got here. It says in February, as a part of a Black History Month, a high school teacher in South Carolina had to stop using Ta-Nehisi Coates' memoirs Between the World and Me in a lesson plan about systematic racism because teachers are prohibited from making students feel uncomfortable about their race or gender in that state. But more race. More
Right.
race.
They ain't even talking about gender at all.
More race. It said
All race.
all race. Students complained after Mary Wood, who teaches advanced placement language arts at Chapin High School in Champlin, South Carolina, included the book in the lesson intended to guide students through participating in civil debates. It goes on to say that Wood's lesson plan was a part of preparing for advanced placement tests and involved watching two videos about systematic racism, reading Coates' memoir, and doing research with a variety of sources. Then students were meant to write an essay on their understanding of the book and make an argument about whether they'd agree with Coates that systematic racism is a problem in the U.S. Now, if you step back, that's a pretty good lesson. It
Mm-hmm.
teaches understanding of others, to place yourself in. And it's asking, do you agree or not? It's not even saying you have to. It's
Right.
saying check out the facts, make your own conclusion. It didn't say you got to write a persuasive essay on why racism is whoop. It just says, do you agree with Coates or not?
We ain't trying to tell you what to think.
Yeah, just trying to show you how to think. But see, the problem is by exposing them to the facts, it hurt their widow feelings. My
Hmm.
ancestors were terrible people. They did that. That's what I'm a part of. That makes me feel bad inside. And you should.
Right.
And you should. And you should. This wasn't one side or the other, Wood said, who has been teaching for 14 years, told the HuffPost. I wanted them to develop their own understanding. Well, would you look at that?
Hmm.
Students complained that the lesson made them feel ashamed to be white and were successful in blocking the section on systematic racism entirely. Now, I wonder why that happened. Is there a strong sense of racial pride coming from the home front to hate a certain group of people while you reject these messages utterly so much as a student in the class with a teacher?
Hmm.
Come on now. So
Hmm.
basically, all right, okay. We don't need y'all teaching all of this equality stuff because y'all overruling the white supremacy that we got at home.
Period.
Ah, okay. It
Bingo
says,
was his name. Oh.
right. It says, hearing Wood's opinion and watching these videos made me feel uncomfortable, one student said in their complaint. I actually felt ashamed to be Caucasian. Well, see, that's how you feel. That's how you choose to feel. I can understand your feelings. But nobody's telling you to be ashamed of being Caucasian. Maybe hold up. Maybe you should be. Maybe
Huh?
you should be ashamed so that you don't act as your forefathers once have. Maybe you
You,
should be ashamed.
You mean ashamed how the whole system is set up to make black people feel ashamed about being black?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, just
like
kind of like
the
that.
shame that they try to make you feel if you speak up against anti-black racism by saying the race card? You mean like that type of shame?
Yeah, like that type of shame. Yeah, the race card. Um,
Hmm.
it says these videos portrayed an inaccurate depiction of life from the past centuries that she is trying to resurface. No, 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 no. It's not inaccurate. The problem is it ain't accurate enough.
Period.
That you don't you know what? I bet you these children don't know about alligator bait.
No.
I bet you these children don't know about black women being hanged with the fetus in their stomach and cutting it open and letting it fall to the ground and stomping the baby into mush. Do they know about that?
Nope.
Do they know about when slave owners used to whip their slaves, that they used to have the coon, the house Negro, go rub salt and other stuff in the wound to make it even worse?
Nope.
They don't know nothing about that. So, my friend, you should be ashamed. From that little bit, you feel ashamed. Imagine how you would feel if you knew the whole truth. Would you then change it? Is that what they're scared of?
Hmm. Hmm.
Y'all breaking up the game now. We need white supremacy to keep going now. You can't be telling them about all the messed up stuff we've been doing now. It say in 2021, South Carolina Republicans included a provision in the state budget stipulating that taxpayer dollars may not be used to teach lessons suggesting that any race or sex is inherently racist, sexist, or oppressive, whether consciously or unconsciously, or that causes anyone to feel guilt, anguish, or any form of psychological distress on the account of this sex or race. So they get to knock out two with that. One, we don't need you to talk about all the atrocities we talked about against your people. And two, we don't want y'all to talk about what happened to you. Don't talk about what
Period.
happened to you because we're going to feel guilt and anguish and psychological distress. That ain't nothing like the physical distress that a whole people endured over 400 years, right? That ain't nothing like that, is it?
Hmm. And
I'm
that's why
just saying.
your kids be killing themselves because they don't know how to feel other feelings of defeat, of guilt, of regret.
Or since they got everything handed to them, they don't feel any purpose because y'all set up a system of giveaways and goodies for anybody with the complexion for the protection. It says the goal is to undermine public education. They're doing a good job of it, Wood said, the lawmaker who passed the policy. You cannot talk about glitter and rainbows and still get students to engage with different viewpoints. Um, don't try to use the glitter and rainbows, fam. You really trying to stop the blackety black talk, fam. Y'all just stuck the gender in there for the smoke screen, fam. Because that's not what you're concerned about. Once the lesson which Wood had taught the previous year without issue, was asked, she said she kept her head down and proceeded with the improvisation lesson plan the AP test would pass. I modified professionally and I felt my hands were tied, she said. I certainly didn't want to use anything self-selected. If my goal is to undermine public education, then oh no, they just quote now. It's a South Carolina policy that essentially bars teachers from teaching about certain topics in a divisory manner to students should be opposed and should be held specifically for those who are preparing for college. So we want to indoctrinate you all while we got you in school now, so that when you go to a college, you'll be a good, well-off white supremacist now.
Period.
He said, I don't want my kids to go into a college classroom thinking that the professor isn't allowed to speak about a topic because he came from a high school that limited instructions, Wood said. He said, but schools nationwide have moved to limit what teachers can teach in their classrooms. Republicans made critical race theory a boogeyman for conservative parents. No, critical race means black people and their
That's
plight
it.
and their issues. In reality, the college level academic theory that studies way more racism has influenced policymakers in the US, but the GOP has perverted it into the meaning of discussions of race or inequality, like they always do, just like they perverted the word woke. Lawmakers in Florida, Texas, and Oklahoma are among those who have restricted teachers of what they can say in the classroom. Meanwhile, educators on the edge, fearing that they say the wrong thing could cost them their job. So basically, we live in one of those on the way to utopian societies, like Judge Dredd. It always, they send you the movies, right? And you remember
Right.
Judge Dredd, when you curse, you get a fine. When you this, you get a fine. You can't touch. Nobody gets real coochie no more. It's all virtual coochie. Ain't nobody
Right.
talking. Nobody no. What?
The three shells on the boo boo tail.
Yeah, like what is the three
Oh,
shell?
hold on. That was Demolition Man.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, with Wesley Snipes was in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. All right. But let me know what y'all think, man. This is why it's so important for you to go grab movies like Hidden Colors, 1, 2, 3 through 5. You know what I'm saying? 1804. Just go grab them black documentaries so that you can learn your history. That's why Tariq is such a great person, because he started putting the history out there. That's supposed to be reading for y'all. Actually, I seen somebody had Hidden Colors 5, I think, up on YouTube. Hey, and I flagged it too. Anyway, 4 words for you now. You know I got 4 for you now. I need you to like for the spike. I need to share if you dare. I need you to subscribe if you're live. And I need you to comment your vomit where all over here on these sites right there on all the platforms that we be on. It's gonna be KIPP, it's gonna be Hot Lava Music TV, it's gonna be Keep It P Podcast, and you're gonna find it. And I got 4 words for you. It's love, peace, with the blessings, and aloha out the Doha for show.